Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Billions, episode 206, Indian 4, Ben, Michelle, Alonso. This, I think, might be my new favorite episode.
For sure.
Like, you know, there's been a lot of jokes over the weekend after the healthcare repeal attempt collapse about, oh, the art of the deal. But there's art of the deal wall to wall on this show, and like so much kind of outmaneuvering and backstabbing and surprising going on. I was blown away.
I had a moment when Chuck was on the phone with the Attorney General, and they're both like acting like they know the call's being taped, you know, or they're worried the other one might be taping it. But I don't have it a lot for Chuck, but I was like, way to go, Chuck, right?
Well, and I had the opposite with Axe this week because of what happened with him and Malin Ackerman's character.
Yeah.
That was the first time I really haven't thought that Laura and him had a good relationship.
Yeah.
When he chooses to misrepresent.
Exactly, when he throws at her something that he's already agreed to because why am I blanking? Wendy wanted it as a concession he's making to his wife. It's like, oh, that's shitty.
Wait. So
Wendy, is part of her condition of coming back was that I'm not going to have sessions with you.
Right.
And so then when he has
so then he pretends.
He's like, oh, how about this? How about I don't do sessions with her? Like, oh, that's,
yeah. So he has become like his move. Like they've done it back and forth. Like you think, I thought anyway, that, you know, we were going to start with the good guy, it's the prosecutor, and then they confuse it. But now we're
kind of back.
Now we're kind of back. Yeah.
Well, and I think the way that they've set up the whole thing with Chuck and Wendy, which is where like he fucked up, he wants her back, he's trying to do all the right things, he's willing to like meet her halfway or apologize or do whatever he has to do to get her back. And then when she makes that decision to go back to work for Axe, he's like, nope.
So that was so devastating.
So what do you think? You think he's mad that she just went back to work, not that she did that she saved him?
I think both.
Maybe both.
I think both that she went back to work for Axe and that she specifically went back to work for Axe with at least partial agenda of getting him to drop those lawsuits. You know, the notion of her coming to his rescue, basically. And I get that, and I think it's an interesting kind of gender dynamic, because I think usually on a show like this, we would see the sort of powerful husband making some kind of move that benefits the wife and her finding out about it and being pissed off because it negates her agency as a competent, you know, person in her job, but it's it's on the other foot.
It was frustrating because also it wasn't necessary in the end. Like, because by getting Lawrence Boyd, and by simultaneously the manner in which he gets Lawrence Boyd, his timing of it and threatening trial, gets the AG off his back, which gets 1965 day out of the office. So like he could have handled the lawsuit at that point. Things have calmed down. He's not.
It was the one thing that was bugging him, and not all. Right.
That I can handle a lawsuit from Axe. That's going to be okay. Now my job is safe. So in the end it wasn't necessary.
But she did say it was for herself too.
Yeah, but do we? Right. Tough. I don't know whether we believe that.
Well,
I do believe she missed it, but it was devastating for me as the viewer to see them.
But then why couldn't she could have done it for other people? It's largely the same.
But they've kind of been building up that it's not. Like that's kind of where her storyline has been.
I believe that a lot of the reason of her doing it was for her own desire to do so. But nonetheless, I also see where her desire the fact that she has that desire and that she's willing to go back to work for him is enough for Chuck to be like, nah, I can't.
Totally.
But then it's also that says something bad about Wendy because she can't be, you know, she would have had an argument about Axe that was far more nuanced than other people. She wouldn't have disagreed with what they were saying. She's like, but you don't, but now she's seen this sort of grossness in him when she figures out what he was trying to do, that the whole reason he brought the suit. So now that she's figured out his manipulation, what's the appeal of working for Axe? That you get to have sessions with Maffei?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I'm not saying I agree with her either. I'm definitely on his side. You can't go back. It was just heartbreaking.
What I like about the show is so often like movies and TV shows rely upon the characters being idiots. You know, like there's the Ebert rule about like 1 5-minute conversation solves this entire plot.
Right.
You know, and here you have characters who are so smart that they see through what's happening to them and then have to deal with that knowledge. So Wendy figures out that she was being manipulated by Axe, and Chuck figures out that Wendy somehow manipulated Axe because otherwise those lawsuits would have just disappeared. So it's exciting to see people writing and creating characters and then creating consistent characters of people who see the next 4 moves on the go board, you know?
Right, this show does effectively what Taboo did not. Like where we would be left, as great as Tom Hardy was, and I'm sorry, I know you didn't watch it, but as great as appealing as Tom Hardy is, there's nobody more appealing to watch, you never quite got that he was, how he was 4 or 5
outsmarting
moves. Everybody just sort of ridiculously, whereas here, again, it's all in the writing, we see it. We're not seeing 10 moves ahead, they're just 2.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's reasonable enough.
It's kind of like a Sorkin, like Sorkin's writing is always, where every character there is the smartest character in the room and they're playing to the top of their game.
But they say everything. Like
that's true.
Like
that's
here,
true. It's more subtle.
Here, there's a fair amount of walking out of the room, and we're left to think: does Brian understand what Chuck was saying? I think he does, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say Brian especially is somebody who you really have to like watch the eyes because he is. I mean, not just because he's really good at this, but there's also times where he's part of things or an adjunct to something where you're like, is he in on it? Does he know what he's doing? Is he being used? Is he playing along? Like, yeah, it's fascinating.
How great was that courtroom scene with him this time?
Yeah,
too,
with the jurors.
With the jurors. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, no. So he's great, right? He's great. He's
one of the best voir dires I've ever seen.
Yeah, totally. He owned voir dire, and he, you know, and to get the Boyd's lawyer like thinking, oh, please, I'll just strike him, but Brian was like, yeah, I'm not talking to just him, right? You can't strike them all. So it worked, and it got Boyd because Boyd doesn't have the Constitution for it. He didn't have the Constitution to spend a night in jail.
And I thought that was great because he won it fair and square. Like it's not like they had to do some backroom maneuvering to do it. He won it like you're supposed to win it in a courtroom.
And as they said, as Brian said, hey, look, man, a guilty guy pled guilty. Like it's not.
I can sleep at night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and all. I mean, you could tell that he doesn't have the stomach for it because he couldn't even just do what the lawyer, what Terry Kinney is trying to get him to do, which is like, which Axe would have done in a second, and Axe was like, that's why he like, here's my guy, do what he says, and Boyd is like, yeah. So he did not have the stomach for this kind of thing at all. Oh, and the dad and Sandicott.
Yeah, right.
That is some world class fuck over manipulation.
Right, you forget how, you know, powerful the dad is. Right?
How messy is that going to get, though? I mean, Chuck doesn't know. He's going into all this with no knowledge.
Right, and again,
now
these people aren't helping him.
No.
Like, Wendy, don't go back to work for Axe. That's going to cause me more problems. I'll handle the lawsuit. I'm the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. We'll be okay, right?
Yeah.
And Dad, don't keep. Like, I don't care if he makes money off the casino. In fact, I might be able to get him on some sort of exposing of the deal somewhere. It's not, yeah, right. But now Axe is going. When Axe finds out it was Chuck Rhodes Sr., then the war's back on.
I think my thing with Rhodes Sr., I mean, partially is he's trying to clear the path for his son. I think he sees that his son's going to be governor one day or whatever, or mayor of New York. But at the same time, I think you really get that sense of like, who is this new money guy throwing his bucks around where I went to Yale, I was a whiff and poof, you know, like I'm old New York money and I roll classy and I'm gonna take this guy down because he's just tacky.
Right, so that's when you have to like Axe a little bit because that scene in that club was repulsive.
Yes.
Right, right, of people and
masters of the universe.
Right, and probably many of them Democrats in New York, right? But I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, right, and this is where business is getting done. This is the power, but they just did. The old conversation. The guy talked to a couple guys on the location committee, and nope.
You call David Strathairn, shit gets done.
That's right. That's right. We'll move it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But great for that guy who got $5 million for his useless farm.
Who was the brother on Big Love? It took me a while to remember.
That's right, brother on Big Love.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think you get on one cable show and you will just always be on a cable show. I think there's 8 actors and they just do it all with mirrors.
And good scenes, as you started saying, between Laura and and Axe.
Yes.
But Axe losing control, like things going wrong for a bad quarter.
I say he's going to have that down quarter now because if
down quarter, Sandicott deal, loses that, dropped his lawsuit, can't see Wendy. Like things aren't taking blow after blow, which is likely to make him actually. So in fact, Chuck Sr. may have helped because now he'll get, like as Boyd did, maybe over desperate for him. Now you make a mistake that maybe exposes you.
Although I'll bet you, even though he can't see Wendy, I'm sure at least part of him is taking satisfaction in knowing that Krakow can't either.
Yeah, sure.
And that he won, and that he got it
And then he
back
won, yeah, of course. That's always his thing too.
I wasn't here last week, so I think it was the show before that had my favorite line in the history of the show when Boyd got arrested. When Chuck says, "You see in your future a little bit here." And he says, "So you mean of you arresting other people while I walk out?"
Yes.
That was a great ender.
Oh, and real quick, I thought Dake got to Chuck. Like, I don't know what that means, but he said, okay, yeah, you got it. You won this one, but I'm.
Well, I mean, he should. He has him dead to rights, and if it weren't for that phone call, they would have moved on. So it's now going to be in his quiver, and he's always going to be the kind of guy who investigates guys like Chuck Rhodes, and so their paths will cross again.
They were, but I like that, like Lonnie and Brian, and the Condola Rashad's character, that they have no interest in turning Chuck in.
No,
like they are actually they're loyal. Like and that was a nice scene. There was that scene of Chuck to Lonnie was not a scene of I don't think there was multi-layered manipulation. He ultimately was like, I got it. You got to tell him. I'll deal with it.
But they also all want that gig, the criminal.
Sure. Of course, yeah, they're all.
But they are loyal. They are totally loyal. All right, so Billions is heating up. This is episode 6, so we're exactly smack in the middle of season 2. So now comes the pivot. Join us next week.